Today on Tone on a Budget, we're going to be showing off my new head. This is a Marshall 412 MG cabinet, which is basically a small 412 loaded with MG speakers. These particular speakers are for the Marshall MG head, and it emulates a Marshall tube amp pretty well in combination. But today we're going to be trying out my new head. Boop. There it is. The HOTONE Nano Legacy Series Purple Wind. This is supposed to produce the same tones as a plexi. We're going to find out today, aren't we? Let's check it out. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Tone on a Budget. I'm Fritz O'Hara, and today we have a new toy. The Purple Wind Nano Legacy Series from HOTONE. This little head, this tiny little head, is literally an amp head. And oh my goodness, I am very, very psyched about this. A lot of people have been saying this mocks a plexi very well. And from what I've heard, it's kind of a plexi meets a JMP. I'm going to find out for sure. So I'm going to hook this up and get a Les Paul Epiphone on it and see what happens. Okay, I got the Epiphone Les Paul plugged in. I've got some DiMarzio PAFs in here. So this is about as Les Paul-y as I can get on a budget. We'll do this guitar another episode. We're going to try this out now. This is just me straight into the Purple Wind Nano Legacy amp. Okay, so we finally hooked up our amp. It's, the speaker output is either 4, 8, or 16, so it will just adapt to whatever you put it in. This head's only 5 watts, but from what I'm seeing, it might have a little bit of a growl. I heard they're pretty loud. Let's see. We're about halfway up. We're on 6 for the volume, 6.5 or 7 for the treble, 6 for the mid-range, and 6.5 for the bass. We're going to start at this, and the gain is just dimed because it's not very gainy. It's supposed to be kind of a JMP, plexi kind of gain structure. So we'll see what we got. Alright, I see what's going on here. We're going to turn it up a little bit more. Not bad. I think it's pretty good. Kind of got an AC/DC thing going on. Let's see what happens when we put a little gain in there. When I say a little gain, rat pedal. Marshall and a rat. This is a good combo right here. Alright, so what I do is I crank my volume all the way up. I put the filter on about 85%. And I put the distortion just up over flat. So I just use a little bit of gain on top of the flat signal with this. So let's see what we got. Pretty nice. This sounds pretty good with a rat. Let's see. Drop the volume, crank the distortion. Gives it a much more deeper, saturated kind of gain. Very tubey for a non-tube amp. It's a 5-watt solid-state palm head. Palm head. I'm impressed. This thing also has an effects loop. So what I have here is a Behringer bass EQ pedal. Just something I had sitting around from my bass rig. So I figured I'd just grab it and see what happens. What? Hold on here. Hold on. Holy shit. Alright, this thing's a bit of a monster. Oh man, this is without EQ. And then here's with the EQ. This is insanity on how good this sounds. EQ through the effect loop, you can pretty much dial in whatever you want. Nice little ride the lightning sound. Sounds really good. Man, what have I discovered? I am blown away by this friggin' thing. Down 3/4. Whoa, dude. See, it starts to break up at about the 3/4 mark, and right where it starts to break up, it does sound nice, but it gets a little boggy. It's a little gritty, but it sounds real nice. I don't know what I just discovered here, but I think I'm going to be doing a lot of recording with this rig, with this 5-watt rig. This is awesome. All right. I'm going to do a little EQ tweaking. I'll be back. Pretty nice, I mean. This thing is great. It does have that solid state sensitivity thing going on, which isn't so bad. It really does help on the beats. And again, if you have a harsh frequency somewhere, just dial it back. Alright, let's get this. A little more bass in there. It's got a nice little twang to it, so okay, and one more final test with this thing, the clean sound. And it doesn't really have one, but it gets real gritty and nice. It kind of has a Fendery kind of. If a Fender had a little grit to it. Alright, let's drop the mids back a little. Keep the treble up. Let's bring the bass up. Let's drop this mid-range down. But yeah, you can dial in maybe a half gain, you can get a little. So we're gonna just start low. Alright, we're gonna bring some mid-range in there. Alright, let's go with a little more sensible sound here. And drop a little mid. Since we dropped the bass, it cleaned up a lot. So it doesn't really clean up, but maybe a little more mid-range and a little more volume. So yeah, I mean, there's different things you could do with different gain settings. Of course, my favorite is just to kind of dime it and just go for it. Okay, so let's take a look at the front panel of the Purple Wind head. We've got bass, middle, treble, gain, and volume. Kind of like a JMP. Sounds kind of like a plexi meets a JMP to me. Let's take a look at the back of this thing. Okay, so the back panel from left to right, we have our power supply input. We have our line output, which is an 1/8 inch. You can convert that to a 1/4, I'm sure, with a little adapter and put it in line and use this thing on a pedal board as a preamp or what have you. Auxiliary in, if you must have music going into this thing, you could play along with it. If you must. Anyway, we have an effects loop, and this is one of the main features of this head. And effects loop, yeah, I'm a fan of that. This is where I put my EQ. Send and return, of course. And your speaker output, which is anything between 4, 8, and 16 ohms. Look at that. That's pretty universal. It's only 5 watts, so it's very forgiving. And it doesn't have to have a speaker load plugged into it. You could just do headphones, One scenario is you can do the send out into the power amp return of another amp that's got a large power section and an effects loop, and you can just kind of slave into it. It is very, very small. It's very lightweight, and the box it came in is actually pretty tiny too. It's just around the size of this. It's got these nice little support rails here. Ooh, in case it gets crushed, in case someone steps on it. You could definitely fit that on a pedal board, so I understand why they made to put that in there. The applications are probably limitless. Good for you, HOTONE Nano Legacy Purple Wind. Alright, so that sums it up for our Purple Wind from HOTONE. What a great little head. It's only 5 watts, but it's got some growl to it. It'll move a microphone, which means you may be able to use it for some live situations. I know I'm going to be recording with it. I'm going to see what else I could do. I'm going to maybe hook this thing up to a power amp and see what we can go from there. This is now one of my new favorite amps. I like it a lot, especially with the EQ. It's a nice metal amp on the fly. And you can use it as a preamp or a powered amp for practice, recording, or like I said, maybe a mic'd up live situation. We'll see. So there it is. There's Tone on a Budget. And I'm Fritz O'Hara. We'll see you next time.